everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to dive into an exciting topic, classification implementation in machine learning. Don't worry if you are new. We will go step by step, explain the code clearly, and by the end you will understand how classification models actually work in practice. So let's get started. Alright, let's start with the very first step of our classification implementation, imports. Here we are bringing in the libraries that we will need throughout the project. First we import NumPy as NP. This library is super powerful for handling arrays, mathematical operations, and numerical computations. Next, we have matplotlib pyplot module imported as PLT. We will use this to visualize our data and also to plot results of our classification model. And finally, from scikit-learn, we import train test split. This function helps us divide our data set into two parts, one for training the model and the other for testing its performance. So in short, NumPy for numbers, matplotlib for visuals, and train test split for splitting data. With these three, we are all set to begin our classification journey. Now that we have imported the libraries, the next step is to create our data set. Instead of using a real data set, we will generate a simple synthetic binary data set just for learning purpose. First, we set a random seed using np.random.seed. This ensures that every time we run the code, we get the same random data, so our results stay consistent. Next, we create class 0, which we will think of as the blue cluster. We generate 50 random points with np.random and assign them the label 0. Similarly, we create class 1 and the red cluster. Here also we generate 50 random points, but this time we shift them by +1, so they appear in a different region. These points are labeled as 1. Then combine both classes together using np.vstack for the features and np.hstack for the labels. So now we have our complete data set, X for inputs and Y for outputs. Finally, we use train test split to divide the data. 70% goes into X train and Y train for training the model, and 30% goes into X test and Y test for testing how well the model performs. So at this stage, we have successfully created and prepared our data set for classification. Great, now that our data set is ready, let's take a look at it visually. Here I have plotted the training data on a scatter plot. The blue points represent class 0 and the red points represent class 1. As you can see, the blue points are mostly grouped on the left side while the red points are more towards the right. This clear separation is exactly what makes classification possible. Our job is to train a model that can learn this boundary and then correctly classify new unseen points. So in short, this plot gives us a good intuition of how our data is distributed and why a classification model can work here. Alright, now let's move on to the most important building block of our classification model, the sigmoid function. Here we have defined a function called sigmoid z. Mathematically, it is written as 1 by 1 plus e to power minus z. So what does it actually do? The sigmoid takes any input value, whether it's very large positive number or a very large negative number, and squeezes it into a range between 0 and 1. This is super useful in classification because we can now interpret the output as a probability. For example, if the sigmoid output is close to 0, the model predicts class 0. If it's close to 1, the model predicts class 1. In short, the sigmoid function is like a probability converter that transforms raw numbers into something meaningful for classification. Now comes the exciting part. Let's implement logistic regression from scratch. This function logistic regression, XY, learning rate is 0.1, epochs 5000, is where our model learns from the data. First, we grab the shape of our data set, M for the number of samples and N for the number of features. Then we add a bias term to our input, as this simply means we are adding an extra column of ones so the model can learn and intercept along with the weights. Next, we initialize our weights with zeros. These weights will be updated again and again as the model learns. Now comes the training loop. We repeat it for the number of epoch, which is basically the number of learning cycles. Inside the loop, we calculate z is equal to x bias at rates. This is just a linear combination of inputs and weights. Then we pass z into our sigmoid function to get probabilities h. Next, we compute the gradient, which tells us how to adjust the weight in order to minimize the error. Finally, we update the weight using gradient descent. After repeating this process many times, our model learns the best weights, which we then return. So in short, this function is teaching our logistic regression model how to separate the two classes by finding the best decision boundary. Now, before we train our logistic regression model, let's take a look at how things look with just a random decision boundary. In this plot, you can see the blue points for class 0 and the red points for class 1. The shaded background represents the model's current decision boundary, but since we have not trained yet, it's basically just random. Notice how this boundary doesn't really separate the two classes properly. Many red points are on the blue side and many blue points are on the red side. This shows us why training is important. Right now, the model has no idea how to classify correctly, but as we train it using gradient descent, this boundary will gradually shift and adjust to separate the two classes more accurately. So this is our starting point, a random guess. Next, we will actually train the model and watch how the boundary improves. And here's the exciting part. After training a logistic regression model, this is what the decision boundary looks like. Notice how the line has shifted compared to before. Now it clearly separates the blue points on one side and the red points on the other. This means our model has successfully learned the pattern in the data. Whenever we give it a new point, it can decide whether it belongs to class 0 or class 1 based on which side of the boundary it falls. So, to quickly recap, we generated data for two classes, implemented logistic regression from scratch, trained the model using gradient descent, and finally we can see the learned boundary that separates the two classes almost perfectly. That's the power of logistic regression, turning raw data into meaningful predictions. Alright, that wraps up of our classification implementation. If you found this explanation helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more machine learning tutorials. See you in the next video.